I don't want you cause you to stray away from that. I have a dog
It's a
that
serious
I walk,
play, but fun is allowed.
fun is allowed. Yes, but the Fringe Festival, beautiful things come from the Fringe Festival. Was it two pianos or one guy, two pianos? I forget.
Yeah.
That made it to Broadway and won a Tony Award. You never know. I mean, you don't aim for that objective now. You just want to deal with whatever is now. But Jillian,
Yes.
what you and your collaborative group, what spurred you to embrace this play?
Well, that's a loaded question, sort of. Well, what happened was I moved back from New York with two other members of the company, Craig and Marc, who are also in this play. And I had been talking to John Riley and the other members of the theater company who, incidentally, I went to Dalhousie Theatre with. We're all graduates of the theater program there. So it's essentially a marriage of these two different training, educational worlds. And so we sat down at Theatre Books, because our lovely company member Jonah Hundred works there. And we sat in a room and we decided we talked about what kind of theater we wanted to see, what we thought was missing in the Toronto scene, what kind of work we wanted to produce, what we felt we had in other places of the world, but we didn't have in Toronto. So we started accepting submissions, and 200 plays read later. We stumbled upon this play, and I feel like I remember sitting in a room and us talking about why we like this play. And I think one of my responses was that it felt dangerous, and not in a way that is intimidating or scary, but in a way that is risky, and that I think is something that is missing from the Toronto theater scene.
It's funny you just said that not to stray too far.
Yeah.
But I will attempt that for a bit.
Please.
The female actor Weiss, who won an Academy Award in was it the Something Garden with Fines.
The Constant Gardener?
The Constant Gardener.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So happy.
And she's in this controversial movie called Agora, where it's the last great library in Alexandria that's about to be destroyed by, very fundamentalist Christians back in that time, and how they followed a certain philosopher thing. And she said on an interview with someone that I look up to, Charlie Rose, that she's always afraid of these characters. The challenge of doing it. So the next role will be playing John F. Kennedy's wife.
Okay.
She actually looks like him, now that I think of it. But that's a good thing, then. That's a good sign. On your
Yeah,
part,
great,
I'd say.
wonderful. Yeah, it is a good sign.
So, I mean, if she's thinking that, that's. I mean,
Glad to be in that company.
what was you came all the way from Dalhousie? Just if I may, Dave, for a second, you came all the way from Dalhousie, you and your colleagues, or some of your colleagues, and you went to the neighborhood playhouse.
That's right.
Oh, that's right, because that Lee Strasberg was the competitor to your acting coach, or the
Method,
the
yeah.
the Method. He passed away at 92 or 93 years of age.
97. Oh yeah.
What's his name again? I forgot.
Sanford Meisner.
There was Sanford Meisner and Lee Strasberg, and I heard they didn't like each other like Freud didn't like Jung. That's what I heard.
Yeah, I don't think they
know
necessarily
why,
got along. I couldn't speak comfortably about their personal relationship, obviously, but all these different artists came to America, and they all came from a Stanislavski.
Stanislavski,
right?
because they both studied under.
Exactly. So Lee Strasberg and Stella Adler and Sanford Meisner, etc. They all kind of took pieces from what they studied and made it their own.
Right.
So they each have different things that is there now. These methods.
Right.
Sanford Meisner method was a great fit for me. Yeah.
Well, it's good that he passed away. I heard he yelled at his students sometimes, but he would have beer with them the next moment.
Yeah,
So-
yeah.
something like that.
I think at times he could be a pretty intimidating man, but I think it was his sort of passion for the
role.
passion for the fire and
For the
for
fire.
the arts that you really,
Yeah.
I think it's what we're trying to achieve here in Toronto, to bring that sort of energy that you find in New York and in London and in Chicago, and try and bring that to Toronto and make that part of our theater world in Toronto, and just kind of bring it to another level. And I think the Fringe is a wonderful outlet to be able to do that.
Right. there was so much more. I guess you can just learn endlessly. I mean, you did come from Dalhousie. I'm repeating myself.
Yep.
And you found there was something there from that method.
Well,
I
went
in New York.
Well, what happened was I went to Dalhousie and did the program with about half the company.
Yeah.
And then I did the summer session for 5 weeks in New York at the neighborhood playhouse.
Right.
And I remember walking down the street. I did it between my second and third year of university, and I remember walking down the street one day, and I was just said to myself, oh my God, I have to go back. I have to finish my last 2 years of university in one and move to New York and do it. And my brother is also a graduate of the program as well, so I also had that confidence on my shoulder that it was a really, really profound place to study. So I finished in 2 years. I left, and I left them. And then I went to New York and studied and made it into the second year of the conservatory and graduated, and then worked on the first a visa for a year there.
And I guess, David, I guess you're just flattered to have a team like this.
Oh, it's
on
amazing.
Your play.
Yeah,
So
I'm pretty spoiled, actually.
Yeah.
The actors are, and Jack, the director, but also the support of the people who aren't on stage has been amazing. Like the part of, I've said this before, but before I doing plays, I like writing plays. I don't necessarily like putting them on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of work
to
be done, and it's been great. Marc and all the rest of the WORKhouse crew, they're doing this work that is something that it's not my strength, and I'm also glad I don't have to do it, like the promotion.
Well, that's
stuff
something
and
that's really
marketing.
important to the company, is that we're all 9 primarily actors, but first and foremost we're actors, but we all are able to carry different hats. So we have Carrie Haig doing assistant directing and stage managing, Lauren Comerford is heading up set and design, Danielle Bosson-Hardy is producing as well, Jonah Hendrick's been helping us as well with all sorts of things. I think that's everybody.
And
yeah, and so everyone's sort of able to step in when they need to, and everyone's quite capable and really doing a wonderful job.
And it's all part of what my original guest was talking about, Michael Stone, about interdependence. We're not. Was it Walt Whitman that said? I'm repeating myself. Man is not an ocean, or man, woman is not an ocean himself or herself. Thank you. But we're all interdependent. I guess it's a perfect example of what you people are doing.
Yeah.
And we'll see by the results how you guys were working
it's
together.
really wonderful, because one of the first things we said when everyone walked in the door at that first meeting at Theatre Book, something that was really important to John Riley and I, was, if you're going to be here and you want to be a part of this company, and if you want to work with us, you have to check your ego at the door. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to move forward. And I think that's a problem that happens a lot in theater. And everybody has their opinion, everyone has a little bit of an ego, but if you put something else first. Yeah.
Well, if Katharine Hepburn was in a time machine, like she's in her 30s, and came over here, I think that she might have been left at the door.
She might, I don't know. She might not have fit in with the philosophy too much.
I don't know.
I heard she could be difficult sometimes, but nice lady, but
But it is
there's
wonderful.
Good fights to fight, and there's other fights to let go,
Yeah.
Like it is wonderful, because it's true. We all auditioned for this show, because like Jillian said, we're all actors first, but there is this, we have this acceptance that we all need to find our roles, and for this particular production, I think we're all understanding that we have the right people in the right places. I'm an actor, I love acting, but I really feel like the 2 guys that we have playing the roles are right for this show. And this is my first time wearing a producer hat, and I'm learning so much.
But I saw the wheels turning. That's how I met you. You guys talk, well, you do this, well, we can do that, but we can do this too, and And I thought to myself, well, maybe I can help. But I can see the wheels turning between the 3 of you that were there.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of.
And we're learning. And one of those 3 was one of our actors, Marc Pache, but he was there thinking production as well. I mean, we're trying to focus on our specific things, but everyone's sort of got their hands everywhere, and it's so collaborative, and it's been a pretty wonderful experience.
Okay, so when you actors were accepting the play, did you want a little bit of change because you want to flow into certain phrases? It's just only natural, I guess.
As Dave was saying before, we've been working on the play for probably 8 months now, and just since we've worked on it, what WORKhouse Theatre does is we'll bring a playwright in, and we'll sit around a living room and have tea and coffee and cookies and whatever, and just sort of get comfortable. And we'll do a reading of the play.
Not from Tim Hortons, I hope.
Never.
Okay.
And we'll do a reading of the play, and then we'll sit and we'll talk about it after, and we'll